Hey guys, what's up from Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Today we're featuring another first edition PSA10 holographic set from the Wizards of the Coast era. Now the Neo sets are some of my favorite sets of all time, and this one is Neo Discovery. Now, quick disclaimer for you guys, this is not a complete set just yet. There are 3 cards that I'm still working on. I've been searching for these cards for a number of years, and I'm just that close to finishing the set. So, still work in progress. But anyway, I thought I'd share with you guys some of the collection, some of the artwork, some of the population, and just some commentary on the history behind these cards. They're pretty amazing. Let's kick it off with one that I know a lot of people really love, and that's one of the Eevee Evolutions, Espeon. So the Neo series was really interesting in that it released an entirely new generation of Pokemon, including 2 new evolutions for Eevee. And I know there's a lot of fans of Eevee out there. We got Espeon, the Psychic evolution, and then later we'll get to take a look at Umbreon, which is my personal favorite of all of Eevee's evolutions. Yeah, so it looks like the population is 76 in PSA10 with 226 PSA9s. You know, that's not a lot. I mean, anytime a population for a set card is under 100, that's a pretty low population. And I know this isn't as low as some of the cards in the set, but it's going to demand a high premium just because of the popularity of the Pokemon. In fact, we're going to see that with a lot of these cards in PSA10, that when they have scarcity and low population, they're going to have a general upward trend in terms of the PSA10s. Now, there are going to be some corrections. We did see a little bit of that with Espeon, dropping off from a high of $6,600 and settling in around the $5,000 price point. If you ask me though, I think that's a pretty fair price. It is a difficult card to come by. It's low population, and there's a lot of set collectors out there that are looking to finish a set, along with those Eevee collectors, so that seems reasonable to me. Our next Pokemon in the set is a Steel Pokemon. Now again, the Neo series were interesting because they released an entirely new generation, and in that generation there were 2 new energy types, Darkness Energy and Metal Energy. Forretress was one of those Steel energy types, Metal energy types, and those were the more defensive ones. And I mean, it makes sense. Forretress, it's like a fortress in the forest, works out perfectly. This one's not very hard to grade because of the darker hollow pattern. I think it conceals some of the factory print lines more so and makes it an easier grade. But still, this one is beautiful, and it's a really cool Pokemon. I like the idea behind Forretress, kind of giving off that vibe of Shelter or Cloyster from the first generation, but instead of populating the ocean, you know, he's populating the forest. Next up, we've got Hitmontop. Now, any base set collector is going to be familiar with Hitmonchan, an incredibly playable card from the first series. And then you had Hitmonlee, which incidentally, both those Pokemon were named after iconic martial artists, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. But then Gen 2 gave us Hitmontop. Hitmontop spins on his head and he uses that velocity to deal out the kicks. Kind of a cool concept. This card is incredibly low population though. Very difficult to find, very difficult to grade. In fact, I think the population, the last time I checked, was under 30 copies in PSA10. Yeah, so just as I expected, the population here is 28. And that's an absurdly low number for a set card. Granted, the Neo sets didn't have the same level of production run as some of those earlier sets like Base, Fossil, Jungle, even the Gym series. But still, that's a low pop. In fact, if we're looking at the prices, one of the things that stands out as interesting to me here is how low they are for PSA10s. And maybe that's because the last ones that sold were well over a year ago. Now, fun fact, I actually had a second copy of this that I sold to TCA Gaming. It might actually be one of these ones to help him with his set. And, you know, I'm glad I could help him out. I know he's still working on the last few. So Rusty, Charizard Authority, great guy, great collector. Best wishes to you, my friend, on your set as well. Looking at our next card from the series, we finally get our first Darkness Pokemon. And these ones I know were really popular. There's a number of people out there that love Houndoom. And I mean, how could you not? He's like this hellhound. He's got his rib cage exposed, he's got horns, and it just jumps off the card. It's a really nice artwork. This one you'll notice is a PSA9. This is one of the 3 cards that I'm missing. And fun fact, I actually passed up the opportunity to buy this for $200 years ago. Then I passed up the opportunity again when it was $400, thinking that maybe if I just wait, there'll be some more graded, the prices will go down, and you know, that's a rookie mistake. That cost of opportunity is a very real thing, and you know, a lot of the seasoned collectors out there will tell you, if you're trying to knock out a set, regardless of what set it is, you want to go for those cards as soon as possible, especially the expensive ones, because they have a tendency just to increase in price over time, and then you end up paying for it later. So, mistakes were made, but you know what? That's just part of collecting. So Houndoom's a population of 32. Again, that's a very low population for a card. And just as I mentioned earlier, those low pop cards are the ones that are most susceptible to seeing this type of linear growth. Now, this one was the only one sold over the course of a year, 2020, and was back in July, so it was really before the largest part of the boom. Granted, there has been a little bit of a retrace, so it's really hard to say based on one data point what price this card would go for. I do know that there's currently one on eBay for $4,000, and it's a little bit tempting, but that's a little bit above my price threshold at the moment. Next up, we have little brother Houndor. Now this one again is a PSA 9. 2 of the 3 cards in the set that I'm missing, Houndoom, Houndor. And one of the interesting things about Houndor is, like, how often do you see an unevolved Pokemon as a holographic card in a set? Especially when the evolved form is a holographic as well. I can't think of another set that's done that besides Neo Discovery. Anyway, this one is even harder to grade than Houndoom. Very difficult to find. One of my biggest regrets was passing up on this card, I think it was 3 years ago, for $250. I should have jumped on it. I was so confident that I could grade one myself, and I just didn't realize how difficult this card was to grade in a PSA 10. Yeah, so there you go. 21 copies in a PSA 10. That's absurdly low. And that just is what it is. We take a look at the prices. Nothing. We've got 3 blips on the radar from years of data. And so that's going to make it really difficult to know what it's worth because it's just not for sale. And that's something that really can't be discounted. I know that Scott, SM Pratt, he's saying that on his channel again. Where's the cheaper option? Where is it? Where are you going to find it? You can't buy something that's just not on the market. It's not for sale. So that's one of the problems that we run into as set collectors when you're looking for those specific cards that you need to finish a set. If they're not for sale, you're just out of luck. There's not another opportunity. Next up, we've got my favorite artwork of Kabutops. I love this artwork. Now, Kabutops was originally featured in the Fossil set, and at the time, he was the fighting type. But this one, Wizards of the Coast decided to make a water type. And I love the holographic of this card, how Kabutops has those scythes coming right off the artwork right for you. It's a very intimidating pose and really well drawn and illustrated. I do notice he has the fighting energy on the attack, though. This is an awesome card. I really like this one. Next up, we have an oddity in the Neo Discovery set, and that's Magnemite. Now, I was saying this earlier, but it's not very common to have an unevolved form of a Pokemon get its own holo card. Wizards of the Coast has some weird obsession with Magneton. Almost every set has a holographic Magneton. And I guess in Neo Discovery, they decided to give Magnemite some love and said, you know what? Let's give Magnemite a holographic card. This one's pretty easy to grade. It's actually the highest pop, I think, out of any of the cards in the set. Really dark holographic background. In fact, the background here reminds me like of a 3D vortex. Kind of like that treehouse of horror episodes of The Simpsons, where Homer like throws the cone and it stabs a hole in the space fabric and it sucks him into like this black hole. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's an iconic episode of The Simpsons. Really clean back too. I mean, I guess you have to on PSA 10. Next up comes another one of the cards that's very difficult to find, very difficult to grade, and that's Polytode. So one of the other interesting things about the Neo sets is they gave some like alternative evolutions for some of the cards. For example, Blossom, rather than Vileplume. So Gloom has like these 2 different evolutionary routes it can go. And so does Poliwhirl. See, Poliwhirl can either evolve into Polywrath or into Polytode. Polytode, very difficult card to find. Really low population. We'll take a look at that one too. Yeah, so you guys are probably seeing the theme that the Neo sets have significantly less graded. I don't know if that's just a testament to the limited production run or if it hasn't seen the same level of popularity and gradability as some of the earlier sets. There's only 25 copies in PSA10 of Polytode. Once again, we're seeing a similar spike in our graph where there's this correlation between population and price increase. Again, I think that has to do with scarcity. If you guys watched my last video, I talked about this a lot, about how scarcity is one of the biggest factors driving price. And so if you guys want to take a look at that, I'll leave a link down below talking about scarcity and how we can really capitalize on it if we know the market trends, we know the population reports, especially as they pertain to condition. Next up, we have Polywrath. So as I was saying, Poliwhirl can evolve into Polywrath or to Polytode, and Polywrath was also given a holographic in this set. I'll be honest, this one isn't one of my favorite cards. I know there's a lot of shade being thrown at Polywrath ever since the Logan Paul unboxing. What did he say about it? Like, it's a Polywrath, it's a card. Yeah, I mean, it is a card, but Polywrath deserves a little bit of respect. Next up, we've got Scizor, the evolved form of Scyther. Scyther, one of my favorite Pokemon, and this Scizor is really cool. Just like the Kabutops, got the claws that are just attacking right off the canvas. And I think that's really, really intimidating. It's really great artwork. To me, this and the Kabutops are essentially counterpoints of one another. Another Steel series Pokemon using that Metal Energy type. Definitely a crowd favorite. I know there's a lot of people out there that are Scyther fans. Next comes another one of the cards that's very difficult to grade in a PSA10. This is Smeargle. A lot of holographic foil on this card. It's really light colored, making it incredibly susceptible to showing those factory print lines. This one you don't see come up very often. And I always like Smeargle. I think it's a really cool concept that you have this Pokemon that, you know, is artistic. It's almost fourth wall breaking because here the Pokemon itself is artwork, creating artwork. It's like big brain. Wow, so that's actually lower than I thought. Smeargle's only a population of 18. It's a sub 20 pop card. A lot of PSA 8s as well, even comparatively to PSA 9s. So that's just a testament of how difficult this card is to grade. Not a lot of data to base off this. Again, we have to go back to 2018 for the last public sale on eBay. That's effectively no data if that's the only data that we're going to have. So, scarcity. It's another testament to scarcity. Next up, we have another Pokemon that I know was a lot of people's favorite, Tyranitar. Everybody loves Tyranitar. He's the dinosaur, T-Rex looking Pokemon, using the darkness energies. This one is really cool. I actually graded a couple of these, I think 2. I sold the extra one years ago. Wish I still had it, but, you know, it had to fund some of the other collection. And this one is beautiful. I know the Shining Tyranitar out there gets a lot of love, respect, and admiration, but this one came first, and this one is a beautiful card in its own right. All right, so Tyranitar's got a population of 52. That's actually higher than what I would expect. But I guess it makes sense. It does have that darker holographic background. Really big price spike going back just a couple of days ago. $3,300. Previous one was back in May for $850. Yeah, so that's like a tripling. I don't know if that's a good data point. Anything in isolation we should be careful to take as fact. Obviously, you want a trend before you start making any clear determinations. Still a really cool card, though. Definitely one that I enjoy having. Next up is my personal favorite from the whole set, one of my favorite cards of all time, and that's Neo Discovery Umbreon. Now, there's been a couple Umbreons released over the years, but to me, this one's the most iconic. It's the rookie card of Umbreons. Umbreon's got the moon in the background, and it's just really well drawn. It's a gorgeous card. I used to use these in decks. Kind of wish that I didn't, because Probably sustained some damage in the process. Fortunately, this one is a flawless PSA10. I actually graded a couple Umbreons over the years, and this was the first one that I graded as a 10. So it holds a lot of sentimental value to me. So Umbreon with a population of 71. Not terribly difficult to find, but again, anything underneath 100 is a pretty rare card to find, very scarce, and really made noise in this last PWCC auction where it went for over $10,000. And that's a pretty big jump from $3,200 back in June. So I don't know where it's going to level off at, if it's continue to go up, if it's going to correct a little bit. All I do know is it's a gorgeous card. It's a highly desirable card by a number of set collectors, as well as those that are Eevee and Eevee Evolution enthusiasts. Next up, we have a card that's one of the odd ones in the set, and that's Unknown A. So the Unknowns had a bunch of different cards in the Neo sets, especially in Neo Discovery. However, this is the one that actually received a holographic for it. And I know that Neo Destiny had a bunch as rares. We get a holographic Unknown. Generally, this is one of the cards that's looked down upon in the set. I think it's a cool concept. I don't know, though. I think, like, having all of the different ones for the different alphabet maybe washes it down a little bit if you have this overabundance of different Unknown cards. Cool, though. An Unknown played a really featured role in Pokemon, the movie. Was it the third movie? It was the one with Entei. Next up, we have Ursaring. Ursaring is the bear Pokemon, and this was Ursaring's first release in a set, was with Neo Discovery. Evolves from Teddy Ursa, goes from this cute little teddy bear into this murder bear that you probably don't want to wake up from its nap. Yeah, I don't think Goldilocks would be in a good situation if she invaded on Ursaring's house. Let's just put it that way. Here's the backside. Looking nice and clean. Again, this one's one that I'm proud to have in a PSA10. Ooh, if you've watched the anime going into the second season, you know Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet was one of Team Rocket's Pokemon, always causing trouble for Team Rocket. And Wobbuffet got its first release in Neo Discovery with a holographic card. Wobbuffet's always one of those Pokemon that I found kind of annoying personally, especially since I had watched the animated series and just messing things up. Cool card, though. I know this one's a pretty low population as well. Doesn't come up very often on eBay. And then last but not least, rounding out the 17-card set for Neo Discovery is Yanma. And I showed off this one in my last video to point out the difficulty of finding this card in PSA10. This is one of the lowest population cards in all of Wizards of the Coast set-related cards. So this one is my third 9. Again, there's 3 cards that I need to finish this set. This one sold recently for $15,400 in PSA10. So only a population of 12 in PSA10. You compare that to PSA 9s and 144. That's a 12-to-1 difference. And so that's obviously going to impact the price. And look at this. We only have 2 sales since 2019. And I remember this sale back in 2019. That seemed like a lot of money for this card. $2,600. Now here we are just a year later, a little over a year later, and the price is $15,000. Again, that scarcity at work, when there's demand out there and a low supply, that's how economics works. Still though, PSA 9, happy to have it in the set. Very fortunate to have some of the cards that I do have, so I don't want to be here acting like I'm complaining, because I'm very grateful for this hobby. I really enjoy collecting these cards, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing some of the collection here. Anyway, guys, that's it for Neo Discovery. Thanks for watching this video, showcasing some of my collection. I enjoy sharing these cards, talking about them with you. If you guys have any suggestions for cards you want to see, sets, or any questions that you have, let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, I'm Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Have fun collecting, everybody, and enjoy your journey. See ya!